Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here to talk to you about a Leeds United based sponsor on the channel, teamwallart.com. The link is in the description. Worldwide shipping, and it's unbelievable, guys. As I've told you before, this is the sort of stuff that you can get from these guys. My favourites on the end here, accused of everything, guilty of nothing since 1919. You can get this one for $5.99 if you buy another one for $7.99, and I did that. I've got the one of Marcelo Bielsa here, a beautiful image, really good quality as well, by the way, and of course the title winning boys. Some really good stuff on there, guys. As I said, the link is in the description. I went to these guys. I love this sort of stuff, and they are Leeds United fans. Go check it out. Enjoy the video. One Leeds is now sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is a really classy app. You can get all of your Leeds United updates on this app. You can get all the transfer news, injury news, match day news, and it really is top quality. The most downloaded app regarding football on the site. So make sure you go check it out. The link is in the description, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys. So, I mean, what did we learn last time we played Wolves? I mean, there's various things. They're probably one of the most interesting teams to play. I know they get this boring tag, which they've not had for years. You know, 2 consecutive finishes in 7th place, and they were the exciting ones, weren't they? When they went up from the Championship, they beat us 4-0, 4-1, but they were a brilliant team to watch. Just so much dynamism going forward, so much fluidity in attack, and they were a very, very good team, and still are a very, very good team. Nuno seems to have taken a little bit of a different approach this season, which seems to have got them that boring tag. And Leeds are now the excitable ones. We're now the ones that are everyone's second team and everyone are looking at. And I just find the comparisons quite amusing, to be honest. But there's no getting away that they're a very good team, a very, very good team. And what we learned last time, for me, and we'll go through the lineups in a bit and the differences there, but just how willing they were to let Leeds have the ball, how willing they were to spring Leeds on the counter-attack, and that happened to really good effect with Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it hurt Leeds. It was the first time we've really seen the low block to counter-attack in very, very good effect against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they completely stifled us in certain respects in that game. But the big differentials in that match, there's some huge missing players for both teams. Daniel Podence was absolutely superb. He was the creative outlet. He was the one who was starting the counter-attacks. He was the one who created a lot of Wolves' big chances. You know, there was a ball in, the offside, the VAR goal that Saeed scored, that was all started by Podence. He had a really good chance at the end of the first half, which was saved by Ilan Meslier, a very, very good save. And Podence was pulling the strings. He really, really was. And he's going to be out for this game, which is going to be a big miss, and has been a big miss for Wolves. There were some big absentees, and there is some big differences in the Leeds squad. You know, Robin Koch played that game. Rodrigo played that game. Dallas played at left back, and he did a really good job on Traore when he came on. Dallas is going to be in midfield now. Alioski is going to be at left back. Calvin Phillips is another one I've got written down who might be out for this game. So there's so many changes to this Leeds United squad since we last played. The big one, obviously, Rafinha didn't play, and it was Helder Costa starting that game. As I said, it seemed to be a really dominant Wolves in the air, which I think Leeds sort of really struggled with. Max Kilman was absolutely fabulous, the youngster, absolutely brilliant. I think he was only 21 years of age, but he won absolutely everything. And we just couldn't get around him. The defence, the low block, the 3 at the back, which sort of converted into a 5. Leeds just couldn't handle it. We could not break it down for love or money. Kilman was fantastic. Cody was man of the match. And it was a very, very solid and expected performance from Wolves. I like Wolves, and the reason I like Wolves is because there's sort of a similarity with Leeds in terms of we seem to turn up not for 90 minutes, we seem to turn up for 45 minutes, and it normally is in the second half. There's a big comparison there. Nuno's players, he buys young players and they'll all absolutely die for him. They believe in his philosophy. Yeah, he's not had the rub of the green at this moment in time, but you know with Nuno, they're always going to turn it round. I think he's been there 4 or 5 years now, and the upward trajectory of Wolverhampton Wanderers has been unbelievable under his stewardship. So he's done an absolutely fantastic job, and you know he's very tactically good. You know, a lot of people have turned around to him and pestered him to change formations. He changed formation to the 4-2-3-1. That didn't work. He's gone back to his preferred formation of the 3-4-3. And this is the sort of feeling, the after effects for me, Wolverhampton Wanderers, the afterburner of coming back to that formation from the 4-2-3-1. He listened, it's not worked, he's gone back to what he thinks is the right way forward. And the players have so much desire under Nuno. They want to play for him, and I think I do get very similar vibes with that with Leeds United and Marcelo Bielsa. Neto there has been fabulous, an absolutely fabulous player. We all talk about Rafinha, we wax lyrical about Rafinha. This kid is unbelievable. In the Premier League, for a guy his age to get I think he's got 5 goals and 4 assists. He's got the highest number of goals and assists for a 21-year-old in the league. He's an exceptional talent and scored a world-class goal against Southampton in his last outing. What do we know about Wolves? Well, what did we see in the last game? This is breaking it down. What did we see in the last game? It was the fact that Wolves did not start well. They did not start with that aggressiveness. They did not start with the intensity. We've seen it against Arsenal away, that when Wolves start with that pressure, that intensity, they're extremely good from moment one. Arguably, in the last 2 seasons in the Premier League, they've started from moment one with that intensity. What's the difference with Wolves? I think it is the fans. I think you've definitely seen a complete downward spiral in terms of Wolves' intensity from moment one, and I think the Molineux crowd does give them that lift. You've seen similarities, from Bramall Lane with Sheffield United. We've not seen that intensity from the start, that aggressiveness, and we saw that at Ellen Road. It was flat from Wolves. Leeds were dominant in that first half, and it's going to be really interesting to see if Wolves come into this game with the same mindset. And obviously they scored first against Leeds United, which is just typical for this stat, but they've not scored first in 14 matches, which is a staggering statistic, an unbelievable statistic. And that correlates as well with the amount of games really that Raul Jimenez has been out of this side. And you just see the dependency on Raul Jimenez. Look at the last 2 seasons, the amount of goals he's scored, and Fabio Silva filling that role. It's a real tall ask for the youngster. And yeah, that stat was just quite staggering to me. So on the back of that, if Leeds can start with the same intensity we had in the last game, if Leeds can get that first goal, maybe even the first 2 goals, we know this unpredictability that Leeds have, and if we start firing from moment one and we get 2 goals in the lead, we know Wolves aren't out of it, and we can never count Wolves out of it, because the second half of Wolverhampton Wanderers for so many games this season has been exceptional. They're a very strong side in the second half. They really step it up. But if Leeds can get that advantage, this for me is where we can win this game. But interestingly, from a tactical perspective, we all saw the balls coming in against Leeds United and we thought, oh, for goodness sake, Podenza was cutting to the byline, playing that lovely chip ball in. You were getting Traoré running down the line, not that frequently, obviously he came on with 20 minutes to go, but putting the ball in. We had Neto doing the exact same thing. Semedo was putting balls in, and you'd have sort of drawn the conclusion that Wolves are very good in the air. But once again, there's a difference without Raul Jimenez. Without him in that side, you're putting the balls into a young lad who's not physically developed yet. He's not aerially threatening at all for me. And they're expecting a lot of him. And for me, if Leeds can tactically look at Traoré, if we can tactically look at Neto, show them down the line, they can put those balls in all day long. And I think that's what Bielsa will tell his fullbacks. Show them down the line, let them play the balls in, because Wolves put in about 15 crosses a game and they don't really come to anything, and that's a really key tactical sort of bit that Leeds can look at, a tactical bit of ingenuity. Let them run down the line. Cooper can win that ball every day. Struijk can win that ball every day. Ayling hopefully can win that ball every day. And Meslier is absolutely pivotal in coming out and collecting that ball. Absolutely instrumental for this game. But one of the more interesting things was what Conor Coady said, and it reverts into the second half performances for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Coady said that they've been told by Nuno to ease into the game, to figure Leeds United out. So Nuno clearly knows we're a bit of a tactical puzzle. He let us ease into the game, and then the second half they'd completely figured us out. And it seemed to be a bit of a tactical plan by Nuno. Obviously they know what Leeds are about now, so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not that intensity starts or finishes for Nuno. But just touching on Fabio Silva, he's had 24 shots, he's had 18 starts now, and we've not seen much from him. I look at him and I think he's more of a 10. I think him and Raul Jimenez would be a very nice partnership together. I think they'd be very good together. But I think Fabio Silva is a little bit more of a 10, but it is key to note how young he is and how many years he's got to develop. But another really interesting side of what Nuno did the other day was, in the FA Cup when Wolves won 2-1, they were down again, came back into it very strong in the second half. He started Vitinha, Morgan Gibbs White, and he started Fabio Silva. You know, a lot of changes. I think they made 7 changes in that starting 11, which is massive and just shows how much Nuno was prioritising the league. You know, they came through it, but Nuno is clearly prioritising this game against Leeds United, and it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, if it is going to be the full starting 11. You presume it is. They're all going to come back in. I can't imagine many of the kids stay to place, and Nuno will revert back to it. But those 7 players have had a decent rest and will come into Leeds fresh and fighting. But Leeds, I think, you know, I think we start Tyler Roberts. I'd really like to see Tyler Roberts. The reason behind that is because I think we'll be able to break you know, Wolves down. I think what he's shown in the past sort of 3 or 4 games when he's come on is a different Tyler Roberts. He wants to be back in the starting 11. He wants to be playing in the Premier League. He wants the ball, and that's what I absolutely love about Tyler Roberts. Every time he gets in a central position, he wants the ball. He takes it on his back foot and runs directly at the centre half. So we don't have many midfielders who do that. Dallas is a good industrial, versatile player, but he is sometimes quite slow on the ball. Matthias Klick is quite lateral and takes sort of 3 or 4 touches on the ball when he only needs to take 2. Tyler Roberts is very dynamic in his movement, and I think when you're coming up against the Wolverhampton Wanderers side, who are just going to be sitting back, they're going to be sitting deep and looking to hit us on the counter-attack, someone like Tyler Roberts is going to be absolutely essential in a game like this. So if Klick is out, bringing someone like Roberts is in. But I think the key thing to note is Calvin Phillips. You know, we saw in the last game, I absolutely love Pascal Struijk. I don't think he did much wrong, to be quite honest with you. I think his numbers were absolutely brilliant. I don't think Odegaard did much, and that was the man he was marking consistently throughout the game. But when you're looking at availability, when you're looking at men wanting the ball, he doesn't want the ball as much in that central area. And for someone like Tyler Roberts to come in and help him in that central area, demand the ball consistently, not hide, which I think some Leeds players have been pretty culpable for, that's going to be the big factor in this game. And I think someone like Tyler Roberts will massively help Pascal Struijk in that midfield. But it's all dependent on whether or not Calvin Phillips is fit. But I do think we can work around it. I don't think there's been... You know, Calvin Phillips is a big loss because we have to move a lot of players around, but I do think Pascal Struijk can fit that role if he has the right players in and around him. So it's going to be a huge game, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this tactical preview. It's been a bit of a breakdown. If you want to see more of these, please put a like on the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What score do you think it's going to be? Do you think Leeds are going to prevail in this game, or do you think it's going to be a bit of a tough tactical game for Leeds United, obviously on Friday night on BT Sport? Please check out our sponsors, OneFootball and Team Warlock, guys. It's well worth it, and I'll catch you in a bit. Cheers.